Okay, thanks for coming out to talk about OneDrive. So my name is Drew Madelung, and I help people with OneDrive. I've been doing it for quite a while, and I'm here to talk to you kind of about what I've learned in the field. So I've helped companies from very large to very small work with OneDrive, and really want to break down and get into what you really have to see and what you really have to learn to make OneDrive successful. So how many people have OneDrive completely rolled out? Like just everything's good, everyone's adopted, everyone loves it. How many people have just gone in and just opened up the OneDrive Admin Center once and said, looks good, I think we're fine. Right? I think everything, I checked a couple check boxes, realized that that's all I really need to do, but really that's not it. That OneDrive for Business Management is not just going into the OneDrive Admin Center. That there's so much more to it than that. And it's not just doing it once, and it's not just doing it and never looking at it again, because things change. We're at this conference now seeing all of the brand new things that are coming out. The admin centers change. You have to think about how all of these tools interact with each other. But you also have to think about this at a non-technical level, because managing OneDrive for Business is the way people actually interact with all of their files. It is your central place to get to files in SharePoint and OneDrive. So both. But to roll it out, you have to understand what people are doing. What are their files today? Are there files in file shares? Are there files out in their existing SharePoint 2010 or 2013 environment? You need to understand what's happening at that level. You need to understand how those people are working with those files. How are people getting communications when new things are coming out? How is IT handling new levels of security? How is IT aware of those new levels of compliance? And so managing OneDrive is not just going into that admin center. It's really looking at all of the different levels that you and your business and how they work with files and how you and IT have to manage those files. Because what you have is you have a starting point. Right? So I saw not a lot of hands, actually less hands than I thought that said they've rolled out OneDrive. And I like to start at the beginning. What does that look like and how do you get started? Because there is a lot of planning that you have to put in place. So what you're going to have is you're going to have the prior to launch step. So you don't just turn it on. A lot of the clients I talk to, I come in and they say, we've turned on our licensing, we're good. We've turned on our sharing settings, we're good. That's not the case. That's not how you have to do it. There's a process to figure out what is the content that we're putting in there. What is our communication plan going to be? What happens if there's going to be a service ticket on day one? Who's going to support that? What are we going to do for security? I'm going to go a lot more into the security side because that is a huge piece that comes up all the time. And with OneDrive and with syncing and with devices, you go directly into device management. A OneDrive rollout, you can't have a successful OneDrive rollout without understanding the endpoints. That's all part of the beginning. And this is nothing that's actually happened yet, right? You've done all planning. Then you actually get into the rollout. You do get in some of the fun stuff there. So how do we actually deploy the sync client to devices? Do we have to manage them on Macs? How are we going to handle the communication and training once this starts moving forward? And really importantly, how are we going to test this? And I think a lot of people underestimate the capabilities of testing and the understanding of it, because what testing can give you is not just a technical understanding of what's going to happen, but an understanding of the users, an understanding of what you need to communicate out. And then you get into adoption and monitoring. I'd like to put these two together, because we look at those first two, those can be a little bit more technical, right? Those would be, if you say you'd have a successful rollout, you probably have those first two, or at least portions of those first two completed. To really manage OneDrive for Business, in my opinion, you need to go beyond that. You need to get into the step of innovation and how we help people work with OneDrive, not just have it turned on. How do we make sure OneDrive is adopted? Do we know people are using OneDrive? The Microsoft 365 Content Pack can give you that information. We have people in my company today that don't use OneDrive. Is that a sign that they're using Box? Are they leading to shadow IT because they're not utilizing the tools that we're providing to them? Or is it because we didn't effectively communicate to them that they could use this tool, right? How do they know about that? How do we communicate all of the new cool things that were announced this week? A great example that I've worked with a lot of people on is Files Restore, right? Amazing new solution in OneDrive. It's been out for a while. A lot of people don't know about it. The end users don't know about it, right? How do we build a communication plan to continuously let people know what's new? And that's the world with Microsoft 365 that we have to be in. We're not just in the tech side, we're in the OCM side. We're in the change management side. We need to get to that point. And monitoring and adoption is how you do that. Talk to your users, understand what's happening, and then also, whatever you find, talk to Microsoft. Go over to the OneDrive booth today. Tell them what you've been learning if you roll them out. They're listening to that. The OneDrive team religiously goes through that user voice. And if we see challenges, they're building off of what we find. So when you look at that, that is how you can get to a successful adoption, like building through all of this. And that was a lot, right? There's a lot of things that tie that together. But because OneDrive is not just one person, because it connects to all different solutions and all these different ideas, that it brings multiple IT teams together. So it gives you multiple management points and people of ownership. Because the first one you're going to have is the OneDrive Admin Center. That's the straightforward one. That's where you can go and configure very specific OneDrive settings. You also have the SharePoint Admin Center. And I'll talk a little bit more about why this is very important, because there are settings in the SharePoint Admin Center that actually very much directly affect OneDrive. You then have my favorite, the Security and Compliance Center. You can't talk about managing OneDrive without talking about security. So that is actually when you start thinking about management, and you're thinking about what you have to do, security and compliance, and the new center for that is where you'll be looking towards that. You then have the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So if you think about the first three, those are tenant configurations. That's what I'm doing for everyone. What about per user? How do I enable licensing? What if I want to manage one user directly or one user's OneDrive directly? You can actually do that in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And if you think about that, that's about 4 different roles in Office 365. So it's not just one person managing that. And when you put that all together, you have SharePoint at the back end of that as well. Because you have to think about OneDrive and think about it from a content perspective. That content that you have in OneDrive is going to be very similarly governed to the content that you have in SharePoint, because they're very closely connected. And when you think about that key information, right, going straight into the tech, that is the #1 thing to know, that OneDrive is SharePoint. OneDrive is built based on SharePoint. Every OneDrive site that you go into is a SharePoint Online site collection. So when you think about that from a management standpoint, an IT pro standpoint, that is very important to understand, because the capabilities that OneDrive has are very similar to the capabilities that SharePoint has. Files Restore came out for OneDrive. Files Restore comes out for SharePoint. Right? They're cohesive. So, but that also means that your administration, those settings overlap. They connect to each other. So one of the things that doesn't overlap, though, is the storage. So one of the things I've talked to a lot of people on is they just want to move a ton of content in OneDrive. That's fine. It does not affect your SharePoint Online storage, even though it is part of SharePoint. So it's different pooling, actually. Another key point, that 2 sync clients still exist. You still have the Groove sync client, and it's not necessarily going away. There are specific use cases where you have to have it. Now, with SharePoint 2019, there was a great session today kind of talking about that. You will have the power of the new sync client if you're on premises. If you are already in Office 365, there is a process to initiate a takeover to get into the new sync client. But be very aware when you're managing this at an endpoint perspective that there is technically still 2 sync clients, and you need to work on how to get to one, as long as you are in this case where you're not in SharePoint on premises today. And now with Files on Demand for Mac, I mean, that's freaking awesome, actually, from a deployment standpoint. So really looking forward to see that, because that uses the new one, right? No longer stuck in that groove. Last one on sync, or last one on primary tech information, is that you have to look at sync. Sync is OneDrive to me, right? Sync is the epitome of accessing my files. And there's a lot of administration that can go into sync. There's a ton of stuff that I'm going to demo here in a minute about what you can manage in here. And the big key takeaway is it's all through group policy. The group policy management that you'll be doing in OneDrive is all managed at that level. So if you don't know group policies and you want to manage OneDrive, that, again, might be a different person that you might need to talk to figure out what you need to do to manage it in a way that you want. One thing I really want to hit on, though, and this is a challenge that I've seen between a lot of people that I talk to, and it's a confusing point, that how does sharing kind of function? How does sharing work, right? Well, how does it function, and why does it function the way it does? Well, since OneDrive is based on SharePoint, the sharing settings are shared. So what that means is that your tenant sharings in OneDrive cannot be less restrictive than SharePoint Online. So the most common scenario I get is I want to have OneDrive be anonymous, and I want to have SharePoint Online be not anonymous. Pretty straightforward answer, right? That's what people look for. You can't technically do that at the tenant level. what you have to do is if you want OneDrive anonymous, you have to have SharePoint anonymous because SharePoint or OneDrive is SharePoint, right? With that, you also have other sharing settings that overlap between each other. So if you do this, and if you technically make a change in one of the admin centers for any of these sharing settings, it happens for SharePoint and OneDrive. So let's take a look at that one. So what I'm going to pull up in here is I'm going to pull up the SharePoint Admin Center, the new SharePoint Admin Center. So I'm going to the new sharing page in the SharePoint Admin Center, and you'll see I have a collection of information that I just highlighted. So we have a default link type, which is going to be the initial link that you open. I then also have some advanced shareable link settings. So the nice expiration policy for anonymous links. The default sharing parameters, basically, or permissions, are what a user can get. I then have the overall external sharing sliders. So as I said, SharePoint, or OneDrive can't be more permissive than SharePoint. So if I bring this down, what you're going to see is OneDrive's going to go with it. Now, in the scenario of say, oh, well, I want to have SharePoint be external only, and I want OneDrive to be to anyone, you'll see as I try to drag that up, it doesn't let me. Because these settings are shared across both services. If I bring SharePoint back up, I can bring OneDrive back up. In the example of how these are actually shared, let's change the default link type to be direct, to be for specific people. And let's change the default sharing to be view, edit, and upload. I'll save this. Now what's going to happen is I'm in the SharePoint Admin Center, right? So I made the changes in SharePoint. And the scenario that I've talked to people on is, oh, I make this change, and they've already went out to OneDrive, and they've made changes there too. Then they go out to the SharePoint Admin Center and make a change here, and they never go back and look at OneDrive. So I look at OneDrive. Right, the page looks the exact same. The only way you can really tell is up on top and on the left navigation here. So I did make the change to move it to direct people, and I made the shareable links view, edit, and upload. I haven't refreshed this page, so you see it says view, view, and internal. But I did make that change, and I saved it. So I refresh this page. I come back in here. What you're going to see is marked as direct, and it's switched to view, edit, and upload both times. So they're the same, and it says it, but it can be missed right on top there. OneDrive and SharePoint, right? They come together. They work together. So when you manage SharePoint, or when you manage OneDrive, you're actually working on configurations and planning for what's going to happen for all of your content, not just OneDrive. Now when we look at it at a user level, I'm going to go pull up my name, and there are a couple different options that you can do per person. So I'm going to pull up my account. There's going to be a section in here that's called OneDrive. In the OneDrive settings down here, what you're going to have is the options to configure things specifically per user. And this is really important because this is something that, again, a lot of people aren't aware of. That there are certain things you can do in here that you can't do unless you go through PowerShell. So I just talked about setting those external sharing at the tenant level. What if I wanted to manage sharing at the user level? Can you do it? Yes, you can do it, actually. So I could go to my account, I could say edit, and I can actually change the external sharing settings for my account. The use cases for that, think about the CEO. Maybe you want people to have anonymous, but not the CEO, because he might not be able to share well, and he might accidentally share some P&Ls or something that could be horribly bad. So we're going to take the anonymous away from the CEO, right? That's fine. You can do that per user if you wanted to at this point. One other thing that you can do in here is you can actually initiate a sign out. So let's say my account was breached. What I could actually do in here is go out and change my password in the admin center and initiate a sign off. That would actually kick my whatever account I triggered, kick it off, right? So they would have to reassociate and re-sign back in. And that would go across devices, whether it's on your computer, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on a PC, right? The sync will actually ask you to reinstantiate that login. That's very helpful, right? Think about that, how you could use that. Change the password, kick that off. It's a much more secure environment. But again, this is not in the OneDrive Admin Center. This is across that service. Now, managing the tenant is good, but again, what is really important is when you're managing sync. It look funny. And with sync, what I want to show you is that. Actually, has anyone rolled out the sync client, like deployed it through SCCM and things like that, right? Has anyone made GPO changes and configured any of those policies? A few? All right. So there's a couple things that are really important to know when you look at sync management. That, first of all, ensure you have a deployment path. So it is included with Windows 10. It is included with the most recent version of Office. But a very important thing is that the update process for it is different. There's actually a OneDrive updater service that runs by itself. So if you think you've put together a plan for rolling out Office 2016 and you want to manage your update ring, you can do it specifically through GPO for OneDrive. It does not follow the rest of the Office. Planning for network traffic. This is going to be a big one soon with known folder move. That depending on the migration decision, I'll talk about that soon, that you can just completely destroy your network with a sync client. You could have, if you have 5,000 users trying to sync something at the same time, sync everything, you will get nailed, and people won't have the internet, and everyone will be pissed. So don't do that. You can plan for that, though. There's GPO settings that you can configure to manage network traffic and handle that throttling. And make sure you work towards transitioning to the new sync client. There is a takeover option. You can actually initiate a takeover as an IT pro. It will do it for you, but if you wanted to force that, there is an option to do that. Now, understanding these sync restrictions, there is a ton of things you can do within the GPO process. Main one that I see a lot is controlling sync by domain or by a compliant device. So, is there any reason that I would ever need to go home and actually sync my work information to my personal device? Not really, right? That's few and far between. But not enough people are taking advantage of these sync settings to be able to go in and do that by turning that off. And as we get into what's next, it's how do you control known folder move? And how do you manage and train on files on demand? So there's this wonderful little bit.ly link that I just built for GPO OneDrive, and I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. But all of these GPO settings are available out there. And when I talk about controlling a known folder move, has anyone set up known folder move on their personal device? Has anyone actually tried rolling it out yet? You did? Yeah? So it's very nice, but the scenario of planning for network traffic and planning for how known folder move is going to happen is very, very important. And if you're not familiar with known folder move, it's taking your documents, your documents in your desktop into OneDrive by default. So the users won't have to change the way they work, and their data will already be up in the cloud. So, what does that look like from a sync side? The first thing I want to show you down here is I have two instances of the sync client installed. Or I have one instance of the sync client installed. I have two tenants connected. You will always have different instances of the OneDrive sync client running, depending on the amount of tenants that you're connected to, because those are your security barriers. Like, you're not going to have one service account kind of have access to the other. So you're going to have a wall in there. When I go into these security settings, or I go into the sync settings, you're going to see a few things. First of all, you can see the account that I'm connected to, and the different libraries and lists from SharePoint Online and OneDrive that I have synced to this device. In the Settings tab, you have a big one for files on demand. So what we're looking at, and it's important to note, is that we're looking at the end user's version of this. So if you had a process to say, we're going to allow the end user to manage this, this is that experience that it would be. So if you wanted to have an end user turn it on, you can do that. What I'm going to show you next is how to manage that through a group policy. Because when you look at known folder move is actually under this autosave option. So if you wanted to have the end users enable known folder move, they would just come in and click update folders, right? That might not be how you want to do it, especially if you have something like folder redirection that you have activated today. So what's out there is they have this wonderful page, the page that I gave you the link to before. So if you actually just look up, actually, what is it? It's a GPO. Actually, I'm going to grab it this way. So with that link, and with this page, can be your kind of your Bible for understanding what is out there and what the sync controls you can have. Because this is updated a lot, a whole lot. So I'm going to go through just a few of these. So first of all, you have some computer configuration policies. So I talked about allowing and blocking domains. It's in here. This is how you can manage that. You build a group policy object, and you can deploy this out, and these are, first of all, just a set of the things that you can manage. So if you wanted to block by specific domain, you actually pass in the tenant ID and deploy that out through group policy. Now, you look down here. We have three options for known folder move. First of all, you can prompt for the user for it. So I showed you that update folders button. The user can do that themselves, or we can force that. We can silently move them, which is going to automatically convert them to known folder move. You can prompt them, which will kind of let the user be aware of how that's going to happen. And realistically, what I would recommend, or you should kind of look at, is if you're not ready for that, you can prevent that for a period of time. Understand that bandwidth impact. Because let's say you automatically turn this on for everyone, and you have 5,000 users log in. It's going to take your documents and convert them all up into Office, and move them all into OneDrive the day right when they sign in. So when you think about that from a throttling perspective and a timing perspective, is your network ready for that? And that's not just the limit of them. There's actually even more that I recommend turning on. This page is huge. One of the main ones we look at is preventing users from syncing their personal accounts. Is there any reason that you'd need to have a person sync their personal OneDrive onto their work machine? Right? Not really. So there's a very easy option to be able to turn that off. And you're talking, and with the upload bandwidth, it's right here. You can configure upload bandwidth within this group policy. So as the new sync client, or as the sync client syncs that first time, you can limit it for a while and then bring it back down. So a bunch of different options you can have in here. Big recommendation is go look at them and understand what they can do. Now, what actually happens? What are some of the things that I actually see? And what are the things that, when you manage this service, that you really need to know about? The first one is what happens when a user leaves? Well, since we all have a perfect AD environment, the manager gets an email, and they have 30 days to go in and remove it. But realistically, everyone's AD environment is garbage. The manager is not well maintained, and you have to plan for that, right? What is that process? I've worked with people to move, let's say, an automated process that a user leaves, the trigger is fired, and that content actually moves into someone's mailbox. It moves into someone's OneDrive. Because realistically, if someone gets an email, the odds of them going to actually look at that OneDrive are low, and then it gets deleted. So plan for that, though, right? Understand what you want to have happen in the life cycle. Understanding the process for how you're going to have temporary access. This comes up quite a bit. What if MFA completely stops functioning? Or what if someone is overseas and you have access that they can't get to their environment, and they really need to get to a document? You can go in and actually grant an admin temporary access. You can do that right through that Microsoft 365 UI. From a migration standpoint, you can look at it from a tooling standpoint, from a sync standpoint, or actually the most common thing I see is not migrating. Right? Figuring out, letting the user decide if they want to move files in there and giving someone kind of an end date on the old environment. But all of these are different options to say, how do you want to get content out there, or do you even need to get content out there? Assisting a sign-in. Imagine I take my PC. Actually, this actually happened. Someone spilled a giant cup of coffee on my laptop, and I had to go get a new laptop. But the way we have it configured in our environment is that I sign in. We actually have assisted sign-in, so I sign in, and it's going to sync my OneDrive automatically. I already had my configuration that I had before, and now with Team Site Auto Mount, you can actually have that auto mount your SharePoint site specifically as well. So brand new PC, user logs in, they're connected to their SharePoint sites and their OneDrive, synced down to their environment without even trying. Right? It just happens. It's seamless. Another thing to look at with provisioning or getting people in there is that OneDrive sites are not created until a user goes to them. So if you're a company of 100,000 users, you don't have 100,000 site collections until 100,000 users go out to OneDrive or instantiate a sync. But there's a process. If you plan to migrate, you're going to have to pre-provision them. And the only way to pre-provision them is through PowerShell. There's a beautiful script online. You can go grab it, run it, and it will create your 100,000 site collections for you. And then you can use a tool to migrate. And last one here is training. That understanding kind of how you go to the next step is really getting to that training and taking advantage of what Microsoft has for you. Use it, send it, build a plan. People will adopt it more. So now, it goes so fast. Now, we're going to deploy OneDrive, right? So what do we need to do next? What are my key things that you want to take away from this? Don't just look at the admin center. Talk to your security team. Talk to your compliance teams. Talk to your exchange teams. Talk to the people who are running SharePoint. These all come together to say, what does it actually look like when we deploy OneDrive? How do we engage adoption? How do we confirm adoption? And when you think about it from a security perspective, your security strategy goes across OneDrive and SharePoint. You can't just build one. And don't just lock things down to lock things down. Don't turn off anonymous just because you think you don't need anonymous. Figure out if as long as you can use anonymous because there's not actually a federal reason why you can't, keep it on. And you can go technically per user and turn it off if you think that's a better scenario. Make sure you start looking at conditional access in Intune for your device management, for controlling who can access what on specific IPs, for example, and start using DLP. It's a very simple solution to turn that on to start monitoring for social security numbers, for credit card numbers, for information that you want to control. And then start planning for known folder move. I touched on it. I'm going to hit it again. It's going to, by the time when we come back here next year, we're all going to raise our hands because we're on known folder move because it really is going to change the way we kind of bring our data into SharePoint Online. And when we start rolling out OneDrive, if you haven't done it yet, make sure you plan to have SharePoint rolled out as well, because you cannot roll them out one at a time. They come together, they're secured together, they're managed together, communications together. They are all a similar platform, and it's the way we work with content. And the last one, build a plan for new features. Managing OneDrive is a communication plan. Managing OneDrive is telling people about all of the new stuff that's out here today. All of the new stuff that they're announced. Build, whether it's a drip program or a monthly email, there's a really cool thing called SharePoint News that you can start taking advantage of. Why not have an area out there to build a news site that sends a daily or a monthly digest out about all of the different things. Right? That gives you what you actually need to be in. It takes you out of just managing it from the IT side and managing it from the adoption side, and that's where we need to be when you're managing OneDrive for Business. So, thank you. I'll be around for questions. Hang out next week or tomorrow, ride some roller coasters, some cool stuff. Build the evaluation so you can hang out next year. Thank you.